and obviously like I actually had the experience of working remotely, and so I was able to help to be a sounding board for ideas, but also input ideas, which then enabled her to maintain a business during COVID.
Because one of the things that I attributed to is that because I like to be in control of almost everything that I'm doing in my business, but I'm also very conscious by doing that I'm also a watered down version of myself, because I can only give so much to each individual component. And the things that I might not like doing, I'm still trying to give 100% on something that I don't like doing. And then I could be focusing my efforts elsewhere. So for businesses that are on the flip side of it, they don't want perhaps the work-life balance, but they are looking to increase the business, increase perhaps the customer capacity, or whatever the goal may be. With your experiences that you've had in the past of doing different roles and everything, how have your skill set helped to help grow those businesses in that sense? I think I got that right. I'm trying to work.
Yeah, so like one, obviously, like I say, I've done some I've worked in strategy and business planning, and things like brainstorming, like we all know, if we're like, business owners working on our own, how lonely it can be. And potentially even when we do networking, it can be great, but people don't necessarily know our business in that same depth. Whereas if you've got a trusted partner that is working closely with you, then that idea, that brainstorming of potential ways to go and take your business is just like, it's another level. And it sometimes I can identify things. So I was working with a fitness instructor pre-COVID, and COVID hit, and obviously she had to pivot her business, and I was there to help her, and obviously like I actually had the experience of working remotely, and so I was able to help to be a sounding board for ideas, but also input ideas, which then enabled her to maintain a business during COVID.
And the crucial thing with that is the period in which time you can pivot, because people can say, oh, I can do this on my own. But then the time scale of that actually happening is quite a long time, because you've got to learn a lot of stuff. You've got to
Yes.
learn where you need to pivot to, but having someone like yourself who has this information can make that time scale a lot less and a lot more concise.
Yes.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one of the things is, as well as all the experience that I've got, I also have the ability to tap into the experiences of other people that do similar roles to me. And so not only do I've got different networks. I've got networks of people that can provide like support services, but as well, they all will know the cutting edge of their specialism. So we therefore are able to tap into so much. And potentially, I've got people in my network that may have worked with similar businesses, that may be able to pass on experiences which then shortcut the experiences. So there's so much that is like my experience, but then also the experience of all the people that I have in my various trusted networks. And that's what's really important. So for example, the people that I trained when I did my first step into virtual working, they have a network of people that have been through that training, and so therefore that's a stamp of approval there, so you're getting a certain standard if I go and find someone from there. When I did my certification, that's another network of people, and I know they've got a certain standard because it's a hard qualification to get. And so people in that network, again, I know they're trusted because I know what they've been through to get where they are. And so I have a really good network that I can rely on if I need to.
That was actually one of the questions, was the impact of the certification. And you just
Yes. So as well as, like, one of the things is obviously, like I say, it's an inner circle of people. But one of the other reasons that I did it was to consolidate and update the experience that at that point I had a bit of a shock when I worked out the other day of like nearly 30 years. And so like I'd done project management. I'd done Prince 2. I did that back in the late 2000s. And so like project management was an element of the certification, and it just like refreshes you, potentially gives you a different spin on what you've already learnt. I'd done like I did the ACCA certified diploma in accounting and finance in the late 90s. So I'd done like that's finance for non-financial managers. So again, it's like just bringing things up to date, potentially different ways of thinking about things, like the like electronic things that may have like moved on. So I've used project management software in the past, and it's looking at what sort of thing, how people tend to do it now. And so it's things like that. It's just making sure that you're at the cutting edge, and the International Association like keep you up to date with continuing professional development as well. So there's like monthly calls. You again, like say, you've got that tap in of all the people that are doing things in the wider business, that then everyone's experiencing, and you learn from everybody's experiences all the time.